What's up, guys? Welcome to today's video. Today I've got something special for you guys. We're going to dissect how to cut layers in fine hair. I'm going to make it as simple as possible for you guys so that anytime you go to layer fine hair, you're going to think about this technique, and it's going to help you to keep that density, keep a nice blunt edge, and have a ton of movement in fine hair. So sectioning is simple. Deep right hand side parting, so you can see that on her right hand side, and then on the other side I go a little bit deeper even because that's going to be the heavy side. That's the side that's going to kind of fall over, cascade over, because she's going to part her hair in that direction. So then the second section that I'm going to take here is separating the front and the back. I'm going to do this on both sides. So what I do is I want to match up the densities. So the amount of hair that we have in the back, I want to section that away. And then the same amount of hair that we have in the front, I want to section that away as well. So you can see how that hairline kind of moves forward. So follow that parting right down to the hairline. You'll see that I have a tiny little piece. So I take that, I move that to the front, and that's going to separate the front and back, and I just clip that away. Now to keep this nice and simple, we're going to go vertical, straight down, center, back, and then I'm going to work a balanced line in the very back of the head to start this haircut. So keeping everything nice and clean, staying organized with the cut, that's going to keep this consistent throughout the entire time. So a nice horizontal section right behind the ear. I do that on both sides, and then I can start cutting my line in the back. Now I talk about this a lot, and what I want to get into here is that I don't always cut my baseline first, but when I'm working with fine hair, this is tip number one. I really like to cut my baseline first, especially if I'm trying to create a nice illusion of having a thick blunt line at the bottom. So I base the haircut off of the baseline. I cut that baseline all the way through. So we're basically going to cut a one length haircut on this underneath part of the hair. And what I mean by balanced is if my shoulders, if I'm facing straight on to the back of her head, I'm cutting parallel to my shoulders and her shoulders. So what I'm doing is creating a nice horizontal straight line in the back. That's going to have a little extra weight or length pushed to behind the ear, but not much. And I just want to keep that line nice and blunt. So I'll take about 1-inch sections throughout it. Now, if you have a client with fine hair, sometimes you can take a little bit thicker sections, and I want to kind of base this haircut on that as well. And there's some things that we're going to do in the front when we start to layer that's going to be more condensed cutting, so really cutting a lot of hair at once. Because when you have fine hair, there's no reason to take multiple sections throughout it if you don't need to. As long as you see your guideline through the hair, you're good to go. So I'm going to continue my way up the head shape. I'm going to do the same thing on both sides, and then we're going to move on to the sides of the head. All right, so now we've finished up the back. Now we're going to move on to the side. So I take a small guide from the side and I bring that over and I cut a nice balanced line on the side of the head. So again, looking at the section, I cut the section parallel to my shoulders. I stand right in front of the section as I'm looking at it, and that's the line that I want to create. So a nice balanced line. We're going to work our way all the way up the head, and then we're going to move on to the opposite side. Right, so now as I finish off this second side, what we're going to do is we're going to move into elevating. So elevating the hair creates layering, right? So we haven't layered the hair at all. We've just been cutting a really nice one length blunt balanced haircut. Now what I want to do is I want to start to elevate slightly. So this is the part side. So this is the side that she's parting on. What I do is I elevate it up and over completely condensed section, and I just point cut into it to start to create a little bit of movement, but I don't want a ton of layering on this side of the head because this is going to be the weakest side. This is all the hair that will ever be sitting over here. The rest of the hair is going to be sitting on the opposite side of the head. We need that hair to create the illusion of having super thick hair. So just softly layer it like I did. And now we're going to move into cutting the heavier side and creating all the layers that are going to live in this cut. So what I do is I want this to live right around her chin length. So look at my finger angle. It mimics the jawline on the opposite side. That creates an angled fringe for me. That's also my guideline. Now I'm gonna lift that entire section up from the top, and I'm gonna point cut into it and cut it the length that I just cut my guideline. So super fun because it's a condensed haircut. You can do this because it's fine hair. I mean, you could do it on thick hair too, but it's just not as practical. But working with fine hair, you can condense a section down, pull it all over to the one side and cut it. But notice where I pull it to, because if you don't, you're not gonna get those lengths that you want on the opposite side. So look at the explosion of layers that happen just from pulling the hair up over to that side, point cutting into it. So now I'm just gonna kick it up with some Moroccan oil mousse. I'm gonna put that in the hair for a little bit of hold and shine. And then I'm also gonna do a root boost. I'm gonna spray that at the root as well, because you want a nice lift to give it that volume as you start to blow dry. So I work that product in. Then the blow drying process happens pretty quick. So, and I'm not gonna show all of that to you guys, but what I do is I power dry first. Then I go in with a paddle brush and I smooth the hair out because I want a nice shine and polish to it. And then I finish it off with a wand iron and I just wrap each individual hair around. So I spray Moroccan Oil Protect on there first, obviously to protect it from the thermal heat. And then I go in with a wand iron and I just individually wrap small sections, get it super curly, and then I break up those curls with my fingers as I work through it, spraying some dry texture spray, some hairspray, and just finish it off that way. So you can see the volume that pops on the top. I got my inspiration from a photo I saw online where somebody with super fine hair, I could tell, but they wore it all over to the one side and it just looked really, really cool. It looked super full, even though they had that fine fabric. So all you fine hair lovers out there, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the subscribe button. I got a ton more videos coming your way. Thanks for watching. FreeSalonEducation.com is powered by Minerva Beauty. If you're looking to upgrade your salon furniture or equipment, make sure you check out my friends at MinervaBeauty.com.